What's going on, people? My name is Billy Lai, and welcome back to the greatest channel on the whole of YouTube. Let me start off today by saying I'm sorry for the couple of months long hiatus I've been taking. I know it's been so long, you haven't eaten, I haven't provided any food. Listen, I wanted to make my return different. I wanted to come back with a couple of big projects. People can go, oh, that's what he's been working on. But nah, I thought, while we're still working on those things, I need to give you guys something to chew on for a bit. So that's what we're doing today. Today, we are getting back to the topic. Back to the topic. Actually forgot it. Hose money, I'm the shit. Oh yeah, I'm reminded. Shout out J. Cole for those lyrics. Okay, so today we're talking about Iron Lung, a passion project movie by the YouTuber Markiplier. This is Markiplier. If you haven't heard about Markiplier, or seen Markiplier, or heard these words, hello everybody, my name is Markiplier, then you clearly didn't grow up on YouTube, but just know, he's an awesome guy, beloved, generous, all this. Markiplier self-funded this project because he loved the source material so much, which was a game made by David Shoutout. The game had the same title, Iron Lung. I recommend anyone go and play it. I played the game like a month ago. It's cool. We're going to talk about it in a minute. But I think before we get into the review, it's important to say that I, as a beloved Markiplier supporter who grew up on a lot of his content, I'm obviously going to come at this review from a completely different direction to someone who literally has never heard of Markiplier or doesn't give a shit who he is. And also, I'm probably going to spoil some shit. We'll see. Let's get into it. So Iron Lung is set in a universe where, like, randomly all planets and stars have been completely wiped out in what they call the Quiet Rapture. It seems to have happened for no reason, meaning that like 99.9999999% of life in the universe is completely fucked. It's gone, okay? The only remaining people are people that live on like space stations and shit like that because Quiet Rapture didn't take them apparently. And strangely, there's a few moons that survived, but now they're like covered in blood. Yeah, these moons, they're just sort of floating in space, and then suddenly, boom, they're covered in blood, and it's like really mysterious. Like, ooh, I feel, even saying it, I feel really mysterious. Like Playboy Carti when he has one of those big hoods on and thongs and shit.
Man, what the fuck is you talking about? What the fuck was that?
Anyway, our main character is a convict called Simon who, for his prison sentence, is being sent down into one of these blood oceans in a submarine to explore some shit. That's the main bare bones of the story that I'm going to give you right now because I feel like if you haven't seen it before watching this review, you should probably go and see it. And to be honest, I kind of just want to get into the review, you know. As I said previously, I love Markiplier. He was a massive part of my childhood. And of the massive pool of creators I let influence the young Billy Liar, he was probably one of the most positive ones. No, scratch that. He was one of the most positive ones. But this movie just wasn't it. I'm gonna be real, it just wasn't it. As I mentioned, if you're already a fan of Markiplier, you're going to come at this experience from a completely different perspective. Those of you who are familiar with my channel know when I see a film I hate, I don't hold back in massively criticizing it. But considering I fucking love Markiplier, today we're actually going to start with some positives I felt came from this experience, and then we'll get into what the fuck was what was wrong. First of all, let me just say I really love the universe and the whole concept as a whole. These are props that probably should be given to the game the film comes from, but I feel like giving these props to the movie itself because it needs something to give props to. But I fully see Markiplier's vision and why he wanted to take this game and bring it to the big screen. If you were going to do any game, hey, this is a good one to do, you know? There's just something about that quiet rapture, as they call it, that it gets me all invested, you know? I love that. Like, it's like biblical shit. Another thing I really liked was the design of the monster. This amalgamation of different people from the Blood Ocean, which you're going to see when I put on screen right now, probably over my face. Hi, you can't even see me right now. Was designed in such an excellent way. It was so creepy and eerie and didn't have the shortfall a lot of horror characters have, where when you finally see them, the fear is completely lost. I don't think that's what happened here. I think the minute you actually lay eyes on this monster for the first time, you're like, what the fuck is that? And to know it's sort of swimming around you, yet you can't really see it most of the time, is really fucking scary. You know what I mean, though? In like Jaws and Jeepers Creepers, you see the shark or you see the fucking bloke and it's like, oh, you're not scary. Nah, this one was scary, you know? And that's hard to do. I also thought Markiplier's performance in itself was really good. I don't know if I already mentioned it, but he plays Simon, the main character. And I think for someone who has pretty much, I don't think any acting experience at all, I think he did really, really well. And I think he made a good enough impression on me to where I'd say, yeah, have another go, another time. I'd love to see you in something else. Let's see what you could do. He was good. I mean, if Simon wasn't played well, then... I'm doing the Trump hands right now down here. If Simon wasn't played well, then, oh my god, I would have fucking gone home. The visuals themselves were really good, and the Blood Ocean specifically looked amazing anytime you actually got to see it, when it was sort of leaking into the ship. Or there's one specific scene, I'll put a screenshot here if I can, when, like, you see, like, the ocean. Yeah, look, ocean here. I don't know what to say. Anyway, that's all we're going to cover for the glaze right now. Let's start hating on some shit, alright? This movie was 127 minutes long. It was too long. It felt about double that amount of time. I think mainly this was down to an issue of pacing. It felt like nothing really happened for the first 2/3, and then kind of everything happened for the final third. I think it wanted to be one of these really slow burn build-up films, but it kind of just made me feel a bit... Because, like, by the time everything started happening at the end, I sort of mentally checked out of the whole experience. It felt like they were so focused on this world building, which was interesting, but they just, like, kind of forgot that people actually have to sit and watch this and enjoy it as a story. Because the game itself is pretty short, and there's a reason for that. I usually say if I have to check the time when I'm in the cinema, that's a sign that the movie is doing something wrong, in my opinion. And my god, I was sitting there like... sitting there for what felt like an hour and a half, looking at my phone. 15 minutes has passed? What the fuck? It ain't good. I think to anyone who isn't already kind of an expert on the game or the story as a whole is going to be massively confused. I played the game, and especially that final third, what the fuck was going on, okay? It was the most confusing experience ever. It just felt like so often there was complete lack of action, and then I'm being thrust into one of these, like, kind of Vietnam-feeling flashbacks. Oh! Like, my god, is his radio broken? Is it not broken? Is he fucking crazy? Is he not crazy? Make up your mind! Shoot me. I think 100% that this is a two-viewing film. I think the story would make a lot more sense if I went back and saw it again. I just don't feel like that's something I should have to do to really get what was going on here. Don't get me wrong, I understand that plenty of films, or really all films, do become a lot more clear upon watching them for a second time, but I feel like for the most part you actually have to enjoy the first viewing to go back a second time. That's just not what was happening here, okay? Like, for the last couple of days, I have been watching loads of lore videos on the movie and loads of videos about the story and breaking down what really happened in these confusing moments of the film. And yeah, I'll be honest, there was some, if not a lot of shit that I actually missed, that I didn't notice. I kind of feel like that's not really my problem, though. Some sections were so cryptic that there is no way these people making these breakdown videos saw it for the first time and went, gotcha. Like, fuck off. Like, no, you fucking didn't get that. It wants so badly to be that kind of movie, but it just isn't. Bro, you are not 2001: A Space Odyssey. You are not Shutter Island. You are an indie horror film with extremely poor pacing, stumbling its way through something that has a slight resemblance to a story. So I'm sorry, it just wasn't worth a second viewing. There were also times, especially later on in the movie, where I think the audio mixing itself was just kind of a bit fried or just not balanced right, because there were times where like 4 voices were talking and you couldn't understand what anyone was saying above sort of the sound effects in the background. And as I said, with these convoluted voices speaking over each other, like, oh my god, I'm getting overstimulated here. Like, holy shit. Again, this may be intentional, but my god, if it is, this really is a pompous, self-centered brain fog of a movie. So, do I recommend this movie? Yeah, I actually do. I think viewing this movie will directly influence the things you watch in the future. Hell, you might really enjoy this movie and want to watch more things like it, which is going to take you down a completely different path than if you fucking hated it and avoided it at all costs. Like, these are two completely different paths you're going to be going down. And I think this movie is a really good introduction if you are someone who really likes breaking things down to their bare bones, analyzing frames, and being really interested in the extended universe of a story. I have seen a lot of positivity around this movie. I actually do understand why a lot of people like it. I just didn't. A lot of the things I think are wrong with this movie, a lot of people think are right with this movie. I just can't overlook what I would consider to be completely fatal flaws. I also want to pay massive respect to Markiplier for beginning this journey of filmmaking. For his first ever movie project, I'm going to be honest, it was amazing. This is not the worst film I've seen in the cinema in the last 2 years. It is the only film I've seen in the cinema in the last 2 years that is a director's debut. So fair fucking play. I know I've just spent a long time shitting on it, but I just love when creators transcend the platform they're mainly a part of and go on to do